Well, it's good to see you, Josiah. It's been a long time that we have seen you personally. And my name is Ramon Abalos. I grew up in the Philippines. And then when I was around 22 years old, I got a scholarship to go to Bible college here in the United States. And just a short thing about my life is from there, finished the Bible college. Then after that, went back to the Philippines, got married, have 2 kids here. Then went back to the Philippines to fulfill the vision I have to start churches and do ministry as missionary pastor. And we did that for 22 years until we got back here in the United States in 2006.
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. So the goal of this conversation is I really want to dial into each different phase of your life so that other people that are listening, they can, hopefully gain some perspective or inspiration from your life. And so I like talking to people older than me because they've been there. They've already done a lot of those things. So rather than me having to relive through some of the pain and the consequences, hopefully I can learn from people older than myself. And so let's go back to childhood and what was the first 10 years of your life, and then we'll kind of go, decade through decade.
Well, growing up in a third world country, Philippines, is a little different than growing up here in the States. No. First 10 years, I can say that is more just life living in the city in Dagupan in the Philippines, play, but at an early age, even before at the age of 10, I was introduced to do some work and at the same time get involved in making money.
So from a young age, you already were you had some of those entrepreneur skills
Yes.
When you were young, did you think you were poor? Did you know you were poor? Or were you just happy with what you had?
During that time, I was probably say we were middle class, not too poor, not too rich. I know people are rich because we have our own house. And we have my parents have a business, and they're also entrepreneur. So
did you have siblings? Were you involved with their business? Or were you an only child, or did you have siblings?
No, I have 6 brothers.
6 brothers.
And 1 sister.
So where are you in that family dynamic?
I'm number 6.
Number 6?
Yes.
So did you have to fight for a lot of attention, or your parents left you alone because they had all the other kids to worry about?
I would say because we are 8 kids.
Yeah.
Kind of more of we do our own thing in a sense that my parents were busy earning and doing business, and we all have our jobs. We go to school, and then after that when we're strong enough and older enough to help in the business, we got involved.
So what was their business?
We started with having a cafeteria in the market, and then after that we progressed to having a grocery store in the market.
Those sorry stores, or bigger than that?
No, a little bigger than that. Okay. Yeah, but when I was young too, we have a sari store in front of our house.
Oh, okay.
So we have that too.
Oh, okay.
But we different, and it's more in the market already.
So 8 of you went to school, and then when you weren't in school, probably helping a lot out with the business.
Yes. In fact, I remember when I was in high school, even when we have that canteen, I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah, every morning while going to school, high school. And I have to go to the bakery and buy, they call it pandesal.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still eat pandesal? Do you enjoy it, or is it?
Yes.
Okay, so you still like it?
I like it.
Okay, so 0 to 10, work on the family business. So what was 10 to 20 like? Similar?
Similar. Actually, we did that until I graduated in high school.
What age was that?
And that was about like 17, 18. Yeah. And then after high school, I want to go to college. See, in the Philippines, it's like it's your parents that will send you to school. They have the money or not. It's not like here that you can go to college on your own. There's no such thing as very hard to send yourself to college because you really can't work.
In your teenage years, did you have dreams and aspirations to come to America? Was that something you were striving for?
Well, going to America was never in my, what do you call that?
Plan,
because to me it was impossible. I don't have any relatives in states that can petition me. That's usually the process, or another process to go to the United States is to join the Navy.
Oh,
yeah, that's another way. All the generations and the people ahead of us, the only way they were able to go to the United States is to join the Navy.
So how does that work? You join the U.S. Navy?
U.S. Navy, yeah.
Even though you're not even a citizen?
Yes.
And then, do you have to know English?
Yes, you have to, because the Philippines we grew up pretty much bilingual, sometimes trilingual. We have our dialect and we have our national language, and then in school.
What's your national language?
Tagalog.
Okay.
And then you learn the national language, and then in school you learn English. So you grew up learning English.
So you had a pretty good concept of English growing up.
I started at age probably about 10. That's when I started learning English in school.
So joining the Navy, this is interesting. I didn't know this. Did it have to do with Subic
Yes.
base? So you go to the Subic base and you say, hey, I want to join the Navy. Is that kind of how it worked?
I think there is an application process that you go through. And I think they invite you to the Subic Bay when you already have your interview. So there's a process for that. In fact, one of my brother, yes, he applied for it. And joining Navy is just like winning a sweepstake.
Okay, it was very difficult.
Oh, it's very difficult. I mean, pure pick. And I think he did pass the tests, and just like thousands of
so many applicants.
Applicants, yeah, he got a few. And actually, he passed the tests, but he failed because he has like a spot on his lungs, and he was so devastated at that time.
So we can talk more about your family, but did any of the rest of them make it to America, or just you?
Actually, eventually, 4 or 5 of us eventually came to the United States.
Okay.
And to live here.
All right, so let's go back to, you finished high school, and in the Philippines, it's usually around 16.
Yeah.
Right, grade 10.
17, yeah.
Is it grade 10? And then you go to it's the high school and college is a little different in the Philippines, where here in America, you go to grade 12.
Right.
But I think in the Philippines, you go to
grade 10.
Grade 10.
Like 6 years in elementary and 4 years in high school.
Okay. So then you went to college. What did you study when you went to college?
Actually, after my high school, I went to college, but my parents got saved during that time, 3 or 4 years before that, and they sent me to a Bible school first. It's short-term missionary training for 2 years.
What Bible college?
It's not a Bible college. It's called Christ of the Philippines missionary training.
Okay.
Yeah. So
is that something you wanted?
Nope.
So you didn't want that?
Nope. I don't want that at all. But I don't have a choice.
Okay.
Because they wanted us to have a good ground, although I was saved when I was little. And they want us to have a good ground in the Word of God. And so when we go to college, we won't backslide.
Yeah. So would you say those few years were rebellious? Did you get something out of it? Looking back, I'm sure you enjoyed it, but during the process of it, do you remember what your thoughts and feelings were about it?
Yeah, during that time, it's more of I was forced to go to Bible school. But looking back now in hindsight, I would say I'm so glad they did, because those are the times that were very, like, I can go either way. In fact, some of my classmates who went straight to college and attended the UP, some of them were recruited to be communists.
Communists?
Yeah, communist CPP in the Philippines. And these are my classmates in high school, and actually joined their military wing and went to the mountains and really. And one of them, that's several of that. And during that time, there was like a lot of propaganda about communism during high school.
Let's what decade was that? The year?
That was in the 70s.
In the 70s.
Yeah, 74. I graduated in 1974, high school.
So you went to Bible college. If you could have chosen whatever you wanted to, what would you have done?
Yeah, my goal was so after my high school, then after that, I left. After high school, then I went to Bible school for 2 years. Then after that, I went back home, and then I pursued. Then my parents promised me to send me to university, so I went enrolled university, and I took. I want to be a lawyer.
A lawyer?
Yeah, and I was be a lawyer, and then later on be a businessman, and then later on be a politician, and that was my goal.
So, we'll talk more. But did any of those things ever happen?
Well, I went to college.
As far as the lawyer, business, and politician, did any of those happen?
Things changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I finished my pre-law, so 4-year college, and then when I was going to college, during that time, I was given an opportunity to go to Bible school, Bible college, because...
How did that opportunity come?
It's a miracle. How did that happen? It was, okay, to make it short, while I was in college, our home church, where I grew up, the pastor quit and went and took up a lot of the congregation. And so my own home church is out of no pastor. And so the congregation there know that I went to short-term Bible school. So we look for pastors to be our pastor, but we can't find any. And actually the church dwindled to only about maybe 4 or 5 people, because the other pastor took all the congregation away.
So he left, took a lot of the congregation, and then it was...
Yeah, so it's only 4, very small congregation left, but the denomination said, okay, we'll just keep looking for a pastor, but we can't find any, until the presbyter of the church said, why don't you just help this congregation, 3 or 4 people in there, just do Bible study. So I did that while I was going to college. I was going to college.
So let me ask you a question. During that time, did you have any desire for ministry?
No, never.
Okay.
Because my father and my brothers are pastors, and I know what is a life of being a pastor, so I don't ever want to be a pastor or be in the ministry at all.
Yeah. And then did you date in that period of time? Or were you more focused on school and the studies? Or...
Yeah, I would say it's not the same as date here.
Yeah.
It's like, we know some people. Of course, being in college, you see a lot of people in school. Yeah, so you have some friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So going to college, now you're leading kind of like a Bible study / church. And then the short version, how did this opportunity come?
The pastor there?
To go to America.
Okay. So I ended up becoming a pastor of that church.
You finished school and became a pastor?
No, actually, while I was going to college.
Okay.
So I was going to college. Eventually, I became a pastor there, just like saying interim. I said, well, I'll accept to be a pastor, because we can't find any pastor. So the church grew, and I think, about 19 years old. When
You were
accepted,
19.
Yeah, when I accepted being a pastor.
So it's early on.
And then the church grew. I was going to college.
Do you remember any of your sermons?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, the day I accepted I said, while we don't have pastor, while we keep looking, I said, I'll kind of fill in, but I don't ever want to be pastor because there's a reason. I said, I grew up in this church. I said, that church is my church when I was a little boy.
Yeah.
So I said, the Bible says that no prophets accepted in his own town, and this is my own town.
Yeah.
And a lot of them attending there are my friends and brothers and sisters and relatives.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, I said, I didn't graduate I don't have a credential in that denomination. I don't have a credential yet. And then number three, I said, I'm single. And then number four, really, it's just, I don't want to be a pastor.
Yeah. Well, hearing that, I think that's a good sign of someone that could be a good pastor, because you came at it being humble. And so if you get someone that thinks they're worthy of it, I think you can get into trouble. But because you went into it kind of kicking and screaming,
Pretty much, yeah.
and based out of a need, I think that's why God blessed it, versus you saying, "Oh, I'm better than you. Listen to me." So I think that's something everyone can pick up on, is how you get into ministry is also is very important, and
Yes.
and filling a need.
And that happened really, it's like you said, talking about the what sermon that you remembered, and that was, I think, vividly remember, it was 1976, November of 1976, when I was preparing a message, and the message was about Moses. And I was reading all of that, Moses, how he accepted the call when he was in the burning bush and said, I am like this, and I'm a slow speaker, I can't speak, I stutter. Those kind of things, then God hit me. I am doing that. I am not accepting the pastor in there. Is because I said I don't want to, or I'm not qualified, and all those things. I have so many excuses, but God just removed all the excuses. Oh, another one was I cannot be, because during that time in university there was a military training that was on Sunday.
So did everyone have to do that back then?
Yeah, there's a mandatory 2 years training on 2 years training in military.
Was that just male, or male and female?
Actually, during that time, our time it was male. It was per male.
Is that still a thing? I would.
That was just ROTC. It's just like reserve training, officers training. And so during that time, one of the reasons I said I can't be a pastor is because our training in the university is on Sunday. But something happened on that semester that they changed on this. It's all these years, it's always on Sunday. But that year, when I started that, they changed the training from Sunday to Saturday.
Oh, and
so that's one of the reasons why God is doing something that I can do it. So that's one of the things I said. And then I don't have a credential. I said, in the past, the presbyter came to me and said, yeah, your dad's a pastor, and you've been a member here, although you went to a non-denominational Bible school, but here's paper, sign it. Here's the application. I signed it in a couple of weeks. I got my credential to preach.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the Holy Spirit is your credential. So
that's true. That's very true.
All right, so pastoring, and then I think you said 22, you got the opportunity to go to further Bible school in America.
Yeah, so during my pastoring, God has been dealing with me, and I said, God is, my goal was to, after I finish my college, is I'm going to go pursue the proper law. But during that time, God is changing my heart already. And I said, the more I preach, the more I study the Bible, and prepare for my message, the more I yearn to study more, the more I don't know. I said, there's more things that I need to learn. So I started desiring to go farther my training and go to a real formal Bible college. So I said, well, because I'll be finishing my college, but instead of going to Bible school and just get a degree in like a bachelor's, but I said, I'll take a master's degree because I can use my college degree and then just enroll in a graduate school for Bible to get my master's degree. So my goal before was to get a master's degree since after that. So things have changed. So from desiring to be a lawyer, the Lord changed my heart to study more of the Word of God. And I think I saw the calling of the Lord in my heart at that time.
Nice. One thing I get from that story, and this is part of the reason I wanted to have these conversations, is so that when someone else that is kind of where you're at in life, late teens, early 20s, sometimes they're afraid to do something. Sometimes they're afraid to make a decision. And what I would tell them is you just have to go take the first step.
Right.
Plan probably will change, right? But if you're just sitting there doing nothing, then you can't go anywhere. And so I think, the lesson I get from you is you took a step towards becoming a lawyer, right? But then as you were going down that, life was happening. You're spending time with the Lord in the Word, and the Lord, changed your heart's desire. And so it's like, it's okay if you go down a certain road, a path, because it can be redirected, right? And I think a lot of people, they're afraid of, I don't want to go down the wrong path. Unless it's a clear violation of God.
Yes.
You can go down different paths and God will lead you towards, the path that He has for you. I think that's something, just hearing your story, I think that's a lesson young people can learn from is, hey, go just start living life. You need to live life. If you're just sitting at home doing nothing, you're not really living life. You were living life. Life was happening, and then God, as you were taking those steps, God kind of directed your path. So that's the lesson I get from that.
Which is true, because doing that, going to that direction, and just the Lord diverted it.
Yeah.
But because while I was there, I think I was already like fourth year of college, and then I met someone from the United States that came over. Everything is just miracle. They were able to beat me. I invited them to come to my church. And then I met a pastor and a businessman that were there actually and even for me to meet them, it was just I would say it's all miracle. Because they don't know me, I don't know them. They just came to my town. They went to a restaurant and asked to go to a church and asked if there's a local pastor there. And they tell them, oh yeah, there's a church here. And so they went to my church on Saturday night. And then they went there. And then they saw me teaching and my young people. And so we chatted there. And then the next day, they came back to my church. And because one of them is a pastor, so I told him, you could preach in my church. And I let him preach that Sunday morning.
You got the day off.
Yeah, I got the day off. It's nice to have a break sometimes, because you preach every Sunday. I mean, it's nice to have a break. So I said, man, it's good. And so, of course, I got to talk to them, and after I get to know them, that they're really a good, solid Bible teacher and pastor. And so they told me, said they are there to actually interview some faith healers in the Philippines. They want me to be their guide. So while they were there for like a week or two, I was their guide. They just kind of.
How did you originally meet them? Was it by happenstance?
Yeah, it's all accident. I mean, they just went to a restaurant and asked the manager if they can find church, and
That's fun.
The manager happened to be a Christian. But
What town was this?
This in the Nagupan. But that manager doesn't come to my church. He goes to my brother's church, which is another church.
Was that nearby?
It's like another It's in the city, but it's like probably 5 miles away.
Well, this is more.
Then he sent me to not to his church, but to my church. He sent this to American.
But I have this is more of a funny question.
Yeah.
So since you and your brother were each pastoring churches,
Mm-hmm.
was there any rivalry there? Like,
No,
my congregation is bigger, or you
No.
kept it
actually,
on spiritual?
because my oldest brother was the first one who got saved in my family, and he is actually my mentor.
Okay. How much older is he than you?
Oh, he's probably, I would say, over says 15 or 18 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now he's about like 70, almost 80 years old.
Okay. And he's still alive? All your siblings are still alive?
No, I have two that are been with the Lord.
Okay.
Yeah, but so I still have 5. I still have 4 brothers. Yeah.
Okay. So you meet these people, and then through connection with these people,
Yes.
they were able to invite you for small.
Yeah. What happened? See, during the time when we traveled together, they asked, "What is your dream? What you want?" So I said, "Well, I want to go to Bible college." I said, "I've been applying. I want to go take my master's degree, and after that, maybe get a doctorate degree." Because the more I preached, I said, "Looks like I've been preaching for almost 2 years, and it looks like I preach everything I know."
Yeah.
I said, I want to learn more of the Bible. And so I said, "Where do you want to go?" I said, "Well," they said, I want to get my master's degree in theology. And after that, maybe get a doctor's degree later on. I said, that was my goal. So I kind of shared that to them. And then when we came back and they went back to States, they wrote me a letter and sent me up a magazine of their group. And this group is a non-denominational, and I started reading, and they said, I found out that they said there's a Bible school here. It's called in Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, and they said it's Charismatic Bible College. But that Bible college doesn't offer degree. It's just associate degree. It's only 2 years.
Yeah.
So they only offer. I said, that's really what I want. But Lord, if this is what you want, yes, I'm willing to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then they offered me scholarship and sponsorship.
Yeah.
So I got accepted. Get an application, got accepted from the Bible college. The Bible college gave me scholarship, free, and then my sponsor sponsored me everything, board and lodging, paid my ticket. And it's all miracle how I got here. Even to get a visa, I'm telling you, just the visa alone, to get a student visa from the Philippines to the United States is hard to get.
Yeah.
And to me, that's also, I was denied 3 times.
Yeah.
And so I said, impossible, I cannot go.
You were denied with other applications or with
many applications, yeah.
But when you got approved, when you applied for this student one?
Visa. Yeah, well, I applied for student visa. The first time I went there, fill up all their forms, and they're right there, says, look at it right away. And they denied it because one of the reasons is because I don't have the finances. Even though I have sponsorship, they still can't go. Second time, I applied again, because they told me, just get applied again. You already have a scholarship. You already have sponsorship. You have free board and lodging, everything. It should be okay. And still they denied me. And when I was talking to the people that are beside me, I said, why were you denied? It's because they said they're actually rich Chinese politician kids who are going to college in the United States. And some of them were denied. It's because they're single. They have all the money. They have all the things. And so people come to me and say, well, why don't you just get a fake bank account, and say, people are advising me, get a fake bank account and just let your dad transfer all the property to your name and things like that. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So I quit. I just said, no more. I was denied twice already. So so I said, that's it, ready. No more hope to go to America, go to Bible college there. And then I got a letter from the United States Embassy. I said, come back and apply.
Interesting.
That's very interesting. I said, so got all my paper, the same paper that I have, applied, got in there on the interview, got on there, and they said, you look at it. And I said, denied. I was frustrated. why did you deny me again? This is the third time I've been here. But I got a letter from you to come back. I said, where's your letter? So you look at the file. You look like you didn't even look at the file. So you look at the file on the paper. And he said, okay, wait. So I said, go back to your seat. So I went back, and everybody was asking, were you denied or approved? I said, I don't know. He didn't say I was denied or approved. He told me to come back. He denied me first, and then after that, this is the third time I was denied. But he told me to go back to my seat. I said, so everybody was like, and so they called, then they got me a name again. They mentioned my name again. And then when I got to the door, they opened the door and they let me in, which is all the interviewers, they don't go inside the office.
Yeah.
They just go face the window, the interviewer. And I met the consul general of the United States.
And you remember their name?
I don't know. It's a lady. So look at my file. Out there, look at my file. Oh, so you want to go to Bible college? I said, yes. So, what are you going to do after that? I said, I want to come back to the Philippines and share the same gospel. I want to study there. I want to learn more of the Word of God. And so I just told him my heart. I said, okay, thank you. Sign it, approve. Congratulations. The Consul General just gave me the approval.
Yeah, some of the
visa, yeah.
The lessons I get from that, there's several.
Yes.
One, persistence.
Yes.
Just because someone said no once, or we got rejected once, doesn't mean it's over. And I think sometimes, and young people today don't have persistence.
That's right. Yeah.
And so you may get rejected a few times, but you gotta keep trying. So that's a lesson I get. Another lesson I learn is sometimes as you're living life, you'll meet that one person that can totally change the trajectory of your life. So you can't always plan that, but you put yourself in a position so stuff like that happens. And we can label whatever it is, miracle, serendipity.
Yeah.
But just by you living life, you randomly met these people.
Yes.
You had no control over that, but you were in a position to be ready for that opportunity. And I think some people want their whole life figured out. When you're late teens, early 20s,
yes,
you had desires, you had plans, you had everything, but you hadn't met certain people that could then change the trajectory of your life. And so, that's a few of the lessons I get from that is you don't know what the next 5 or 10 steps are, because maybe step 2 is to meet this one person, and then the other steps will highlight itself, but you won't know step 6 until you went to step 2.
That's right on.
So that's really interesting. So let's did you know much about Alaska? Did you know it was much colder than the Philippines?
No.
Because we'll talk about how not everyone knows like how hot it is in the Philippines and how humid it is. So you go for somewhere that's very close to the equator, hot. You basically have 2 seasons, raining and sunny, and just back and forth, a lot of hot, a lot of humidity. And then someone's like, here's Alaska.
Yeah, it was a night and day experience. At first, after I found out that I'm going there, after I got my...
How long was that? How long was that process to get approved?
Actually, when I got that, once I got my visa, I was already almost graduating in college. And then, so I got my visa. I think he really bought, then after that, he just bought me my ticket. So since you're flying, I got my visa in August and September. I flew right away.
How many times did you apply, like that process from when you first applied to when you got approved? Was that within a year?
Yeah, within a year, yeah.
Okay.
It was just like I did it like every 3 months. Yeah, so like a year. Yeah, just get the process that's been going.
So you got to Alaska in September. Was it already cold then?
Almost.
And then how was that initially?
It was nice. At first it was like fall. So it was cold. It was cold at first, but I can remember when I first seen my snow, the snow.
Yeah.
Oh,
You don't really see that.
Excited, yeah, no. I was excited. So my first year, I got excited. Nice, all nice. But the people up there were really very accommodating, and they helped me how to. They taught me different things, what to do and what not to do. Because I'm so naive.
Right.
The snow, it's like he told me never lick. If you stop your tongue on it, or even if your hands is wet, then you don't touch the metal or anything like that. It's cold, it's frozen. So I learned that. And then while I was there, I learned how to the house that I stayed in every winter. You just fill the ice and turn it into an ice rink. So I learned how to skate. So I did some sports, and I learned I got some friends in Bible college that taught me how to ski and also go downhill skiing. So
Were you into sports? Were you athletic when you were growing up?
not really. I'm not very athletic. Yeah.
What were kind of like, we're backtracking a little bit. Did you have any passions or hobbies in your teenage, early adulthood?
I play chess.
Chess. That was your thing.
My
You
thing.
wanted to be a grandmaster?
No, I just enjoy it. I just enjoy it because it's just brain. And it's mine. That's one of my favorite game during that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're in Alaska. Bible school is supposed to be for 2 years.
3 years, yeah.
I'm assuming it went well, and then you met someone important in your life, possibly.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
So when I was in Alaska, Bible school is doing well, but before I came to the United States, I got another scholarship to attend Morris Rural School of Evangelism in California. As a pastor there, Morris Rural is very well known in the Philippines, and he's offering for national pastors to come to U.S. and get trained on the School of Ministry for like 3 months. It's a really short-term School of Evangelism. What they call it. So it's School of Ministry in San Diego.
Is that still a school?
I don't think it's going on anymore.
Is the Alaska Bible College still a school?
Yeah, the Bible college is already gone too.
Okay,
Stopped already. Yeah, and so I got that scholarship, and then I found out that there is a summer break, and so I used my scholarship to go to Alaska, to California.
A little warmer.
Yeah, San Diego.
So would it feel like summer, like being in the Philippines?
Yeah, it's actually almost like Philippines because I was there during the summer, so it was a nice break. But of course, during summer, Alaska is also very nice.
Yeah,
but it's still cooler. But so I was there and there, that's where I met my future wife. She was also going to that school of ministry. And that's also another miracle there, because when I was in Bible college, of course, I've seen the students hang around with each other, and I've seen pairings, and I've seen dating, and I've seen Bible students getting married. But when I was there, I was actually I was not thinking of getting married to.
And how old are you then? 23, 24?
I was 22.
22?
Yeah, so when I came here, I was not even dreaming of getting married. I thought I'm going back to the Philippines and get married to a Filipino. So, because I look at myself as lower than Americans, or another one is, I thought, what I know about America is what I saw in TV and how ladies here are different.
Yes.
So I said, no, I don't want that kind. So that was and then when I was, it kind of like said when I was in Bible college, so I see some people, I talked to one of my classmates and he said, oh, so you've been going on dating with so-and-so? And I said, yeah. Are you planning to marry him? I said no. That boggled me, right? I mean, that.
So you were dating someone, or you?
No, another friend.
Oh,
His Bible college.
They were dating, but not.
They were dating. So they've been going out. They've been girlfriend and boyfriend. And so I asked her one time, I said, you planning to get married? I said, no. So that question, I said, why? Because in my mind is you, to me, my mentality when you go courtship, your intention is to get married.
Yeah.
But that wasn't, so it wasn't happening. So I said, So then just felt like, so I said, I'm not doing that. Okay. And so when I met this girl, so of course.
What was her name? What is her name?
Her name's Debbie.
Debbie. And was it love at first sight? Or talking about your initial, when you first, what do you remember?
Yeah, it wasn't really love at first sight, but there's an attraction the first time. So we were just introduced. We were just eating in the cafeteria. He introduced us, and then saw this beautiful girl, long hair. So and then after that, we just started talking. So during the time, I was just very friendly to everybody. There's 40 different nationalities attending that.
So how did a white American girl end up there? If it seemed it was more international.
Yeah, it's international, but it's also, they offered a lot of scholarship to international, like South American, Asian, and European came over there. And then, but they also offered it to Americans. But I think the Americans paid. They don't have scholarship, so they paid to go to the school. So there's, I would say, maybe 50-50, the students. And then, so we were all two, we just mingled. And then, so we were talking, met this girl. And when we were talking, I said, got to know her. And then I think we went and talked again. And so I seen something different with this girl. So I asked her, how old is she? She's about probably, she was, I think, 19. So I asked, do you still live with your parents? I said, yeah. Usually I thought majority of the kids here, I mean, once they're 18, they're out.
Yeah.
So I asked her, is your parents Christian? She says, yeah. Are they still married? I says, yeah. So I said, those are questions. So I asked a lot of questions. And actually the first day I started talking to her. And then the more talking, the second day I talked to her again. And I asked more deeper questions. And actually I asked, what do you think about divorce? What is that question? I said, no, I don't believe in divorce. I believe there's no God intended you should be married for life. And she got good answers. And I said, good family. Are your parents Christian? I said, yeah, they're Christian. All in Christian. So I said, and then those are things. Oh, then my father always told me, you gotta marry someone who's Christian, has a good family background. Right. So those are the ones. So, and then, so strange. This is really, I don't know if I say certain, but yeah, I was attracted to her because her answers and the way she's very pretty. And
was she attracted to you at that time? Do you know?
It must be, because I tell you, on the third day, I was doing my devotion. I was reading Proverbs 18. Third day, I met her on May 15. And on the third day, May 18, I was doing my devotion in the morning. When I read chapter 18, verse 22, it says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. That hit me. I don't know if it was the Lord, but I guess the Lord said, well, you're going to marry Debbie. And I said, no. Oh, it's only third day. How would she? I said, well, how would I do this? I said, I don't want to play. And I don't want someone playing with me also. So I said, I will tell her. Then the Lord told me that I'm going to marry her.
Yeah.
So I planned. So we talked again that day, and then at night, we kind of went out for a walk. That night, going to the pier, San Diego Pier, I think. We were just like walking from the hotel to the... and then I told her, Debbie, I said, I believe, Lord willing, after my Bible college, when I'm done, I'd like to marry you.
But it's quick, within 3 days.
Yeah, I'd like to marry you, but I'm going back. But after that, I want you to go to the Philippines with me. So it's not just a proposal. I mean, it wasn't a proposal. Actually, that's how the intention is. I don't know it was a proposal.
Yeah.
During the time, I never proposed to anybody. I don't know how.
I've never done it before.
I never courted anybody like this, the way you do it in the United States. And so I said, the Lord willing. I said, you know what she did? I said, yes.
Wow. You got it? Yes.
Then there.
And you didn't even have a ring or...
I don't even have a ring. I don't know. I have to give a ring or anything like that. I don't know anything about that. And so she said, yes. I was surprised. So that registered in my mind, this girl is serious. It's not like just, we're going to go and, I'm not planning to marry you, but I will just going to go out and be friends. So it's like, so that's what happened. That was the intention. And then after that, I think I said, I'd like to meet your parents. So I ended up, after school, I went to Florida to meet her parents. I guess she was happy. She told me that, hey, I'm bringing someone.
Yeah, I mean, that's all within 3 months.
That's all in 3 months.
3 days, you pretty much proposed.
Yeah.
And then
about another year, about maybe 2.5 more months, because I probably met her about maybe in the middle, like 2 or 3 weeks at school. So over 2 months, we got to know each other there. And then after that, I like to go meet your parents. So I got there and met her parents. And a year later, came back and got married to her.
So a year later, you went back to Alaska?
Then after that, I went back to Alaska.
So you met her parents, you left.
Yes.
She stayed in Florida?
Yes.
You went to Alaska?
Yeah. Well,
and you just had a long distance relationship?
Yep. But
they didn't have email back. Well, maybe, I don't know.
No, they phone.
Just phone.
Letters.
Lots of minutes.
Lots of letters. Well, I don't have
minutes.
I don't have money.
Yeah.
So I can't call her. So she called me.
Wow, okay.
And she wrote almost at least once a week. I wrote probably once a month. But actually going there, which is so funny because I was a student, and then even going to California was another miracle for me to go there. It was a miracle how I was able to go there, got the plane ticket, and how to God provided someone that I can ride with, because there's also a couple Americans in this Bible school that I was going to. They said, "Oh, I'm going to that school too." They paid a tuition to go to school, but I have scholarship, so they paid. So we rode together and got there. So I actually don't have money. So Debbie paid my ticket. Oh, actually, we went up one night. We were after the school. We were in the students, and say, "Oh, let's go out to Denny's." It's so funny. I said, "Oh, Debbie, let's go out to Denny's." I invited her to go. After we ate, I don't have money. And she paid for my dinner.
Yeah.
And then even for my ticket to go to her place, she paid for it too.
Yeah.
And then from there, from Florida, I don't have money to go all the way back to Alaska.
Yeah.
So my friend, who is my roommate in Bible college, who also went back home on vacation from Illinois, she told me, sent me a ticket. Okay, come over to Illinois. He sent me a ticket from Florida to fly to Chicago, to Illinois. And then from there in Illinois, he says, we will drive, because he's bringing a car. He will drive together all the way to Alaska. So
a long drive.
It's a long drive, but I think it took us 5 minutes. So then from there, it was almost like the weekend. And so the weekend, we went to the church, and before Sunday, his pastor contacted me if I will speak in the church on that Sunday, in his church. I said, yes, I'll just share. I did preach in that church, And I was surprised. I got a big love offering. About like $500 or $600.
That's a lot like that.
That was a lot of money that day. They gave me a love offering. From there, I said, oh man, I got a lot of this money. So we traveled all the way. We hit Great Falls, Montana, about to cross the border. When I got to the border of Canada, they looked at my passport. I don't have a visa to go to Canada. I don't have a choice. They won't let me in. I can't go. No, we're just passing your high visa and all this. And no, you need to go to Seattle and apply for a visa to go to Canada. So I don't have a choice. So those friends I have there said, well, we'll just go to Great Falls Airport. I said, we'll just buy a ticket to go to Alaska. So I thought I can use my money to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
But to fly on that day, the ticket was outrageous. If we fly, we're talking about flying and buy a ticket, and it was a lot. So I think I don't have. So I think the only money I have, is what I have is about 400. That will only take me to Seattle. So I use the money. I buy a one-way ticket to Seattle.
And you don't know anyone there.
I don't know anyone in Seattle. I don't know what I'm going to do after that. I'm not in Anchorage yet. So from there, on the way there, I called my sponsor who lives in Oregon. The sponsor to sponsor me. Okay, this is my predicament. I said, I only have money to go from Great Falls, Montana to Seattle. And then from there, I don't have money. I don't know how to go back to it. I said, I'm in Oregon. He said, but you know what? I'm about to fly to Seattle. I don't know if I can even meet you there. And we said, because Seattle, his ticket is just a stopover for him from Oregon, from Portland to Seattle, Seattle to Anchorage. So it's just a stopover. So it's not stopping there. But this is the time I'm flying in. Okay, it looks like I'm flying in there. I'm arriving in Seattle before that. So, okay, let's see. Meet me at this gate. So I arrived in Seattle, meet him at the gate. He came out of his plane just because they're just refueling there. I met him there and says, my plane is about to leave. I cannot go get you a ticket. I said, I don't know how I'm going to do, but you go. The thing he told, send me to, I already asked how much is the ticket from Seattle to Anchorage. I said it was $250. So I said, well, I don't know. I said, I don't have cash. So okay, here it is. During the time, is check. So I said, I'll write you a check, but I don't even know if you will get it, if they will accept it, because it's a third-party check.
Yeah.
But I said, it's okay, just give it to me, I'll talk to them. He doesn't believe that I'll get it. So I went back, and they look at the ticket. Who is this? It was from my sponsor. He wrote me the check. I just met him. He's also flying, but he doesn't have time to come over here to buy this ticket from me. But so he just sent me, because his plane's about to leave, and I told him the flight number. Sure enough, he just left. So I was stuck out there. I don't have anywhere to go. And so they said, they went to the supervisor and said, they accepted that. They accepted it, and they gave me a ticket. Then from there, I went I met him in Anchorage. He says, you're making it? I said, I can't believe it. So that's another miracle that happened in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
All right, so finish out school in Alaska, and then you get married the next year?
Yes.
After a year of boarding, long distance.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys get married?
I went back to Florida. He sent me a ticket to Florida.
He flew you?
Yeah.
When you were in Bible school, did you work at all? Or were you focused?
I started on my last year. I started working as I can only work 20 hours a week if it's as a student. So I can work. So I have a little money, a pocket money. but he sent me a ticket, go there, and then we got married. Oh, wait. Before that, so we set the date that we're getting married in June after
What year?
1981.
Okay.
So we met in 1980. So that was a year later. And so I said in April of 1981, I called her and I said, Debbie, I said, we need to postpone this wedding. Why? I said, I don't have money. I can't get married. I don't have money. Because my mentality is, in the Philippines, the man pays for everything.
Yeah.
That's the culture. I said, I don't have the money. I haven't saved enough money yet. So let's postpone it. She started crying. I said, no, it's already set. It's already, and this is, the dad talked to him. So he handed the phone to her dad and I said, son, he called me. Actually, I called him dad already. I said, Dad, I said, our culture is we have to pay. I don't have money. I don't have enough money yet. I can't pay for the wedding. And he said to me, son, don't worry about it. Just come over here, get married. Don't worry about anything. He said, so I was assured of that. I don't know the culture.
Yeah.
So we said, okay. So we did that, and sure enough, we
Got married in June.
got married in June.
All right. So
After 3 days of getting married, so there's always 3 days. After 3 days of getting married, got married in June 12, 13, 14, 15. June 15, we loaded up her car with all the gifts that we received, and then we drove. We left her house. We drove from Florida all the way to Alaska.
So if school was over, why'd you go back to Alaska? Or school wasn't over yet?
No, school was over. That's where we're gonna live,
Okay.
in Alaska,
So
because the school are mentoring me and discipling me, and they will send me as a missionary back to the United States. Back to America. Back to the Philippines.
okay.
So that's why, that's my home church, and that's the purpose why. So that's why they want to keep training me there, and they want me to be trained, and eventually they train me to become an intern pastor and become an elder. So I don't know how to do it and everything. So I still have to continue my training with them.
All right. So for the listener, so they can kind of gain some firsthand experience, what were the first few marriages like? Were they hard, easy? Do you wish you would have, like, going back then, there probably wasn't many books, or did you just say, hey, get married, you'll kind of figure it out? Or I guess, what advice do you give to people now that are getting married as far as like, hey, go to marriage counseling? Because I don't know if you guys did all that stuff back then.
Yeah, we have a premarital counseling. Like when I was here, I talked to my pastor, and the pastor just kind of gave me advice, all the things, and they would give us books to read and things like that. So we did that. But of course, when you're first newly married, everything is fine and rosy. Everything is fine. There's no problem, really. We did not really fight or anything like that. No, we were just happy serving the Lord. Yeah. And then what was really hard for her was leaving her family, because it's the first time.
That's all she knew.
Yeah, that's all she knew. And then coming to this church, this big church, and then she's new. She's just like, she's not very outgoing, so she's shy. So that was kind of hard for her to she doesn't know very many people.
So
yeah,
married first couple of years. How long did you stay in Alaska before you went back to the Philippines?
after that, I think we were there for like a couple of years, and then they said that when we need to go, go to the Philippines. We went to go like scout the land with my wife, make sure my wife she knows what she's doing, because she never been out of the country.
Yeah.
She never don't know anything. So he said, well, you need to go over there and check her out and check the place first, and come back and see if she is willing to go with you and live there. So we really have our first daughter. Our daughter was about like 2 years old at the time, our oldest.
So how long after you got married, how long before you had your first kid?
I think she got pregnant after 4 months.
So that was quick.
Yeah, after 4 months, she got pregnant. And then we have our first child about a year and 1 month. Because we got married in June and our baby was born in July. Yeah.
So I want to ask you about that. When you had your first kid, did that change you at all? Did it help mature you in any way, or
Oh, yes.
did it make you think about life a little differently once you had your first?
Yeah, and this is a big responsibility. I really have a child here.
Yeah.
It's going to, it's a big responsibility right there, yeah. Because you mature right away when you have...
When life stops being about you, when you think about this
child in there, yeah.
Yeah.
That is...
So that was pretty quick. Married, have a kid less than 18 months later almost.
Yes.
And then you start...
So they sent us to, actually in 1984, they sent us to the Philippines just to scout the land with my wife.
Were you planning to go back to the area where you had pastored?
Yes. Because while I was in Bible college, my dad is a pastor, and he died while I was in Bible college. So they're just like waiting for me to come back there and pretty much turn over the church to me. So when I got back there, when I went there just to scout the place, I did not treat her as a tourist. We just went straight to my parents' house, and we didn't go to a hotel. We just stayed at my parents' house, which is a typical middle-class Filipino house.
Was that a culture shock for her?
It was terrible. Yeah, it was a culture shock for her. She doesn't have, in fact, actually, we don't have AC in our house, but because she's coming, they bought a window air. And our bathroom...
Florida's pretty hot. So.
Yeah, well, but there's AC over there. No, there's none. And then our bathroom in our house doesn't have a tank. It's not flushing. But they found out that she's coming. So they actually built another on the side, another bathroom with a toilet tank just for her.
And modernized.
Yeah, modernized it a little bit. But when we got there, I think she was there already for a few days. She used we don't know that there's a new bathroom because she didn't use it. We used the old one first. And then, no, don't use that one. Use this one. And then, but it was a real culture shock for her. That she was hot and she was just like, we had the baby, and we have, and of course when we're there going from one place to another, we rode a jeepney and tricycles, and it was not easy for her. She was like, we were supposed to be there for like 3 weeks. After a week, she said, I want to go home.
Yeah. Back to Alaska or back
to Alaska.
Okay.
She can't take it. She really can't take it. I mean, it's
a lot.
Yeah. It was the first night I got there. Of course, we just came home. It's been like, so many years that I've been there. Actually, we were so tired. We arrived home. And then 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, we heard a big, they're killing a goat. So it's just right on the back of it, so you can hear it. What is that? Oh, they're killing a goat. So, hey, so wow, is it doing that for you? It's like, I don't know, we can't come over and we just a welcome party. That's what they're doing. There's so many stories. And then, to make this story short, of course, I say I can't change the ticket. We have to pretty much suffer here. And she was miserable the whole time.
Yeah. On
the time. So on the way back, I said, well, instead of, let's take you out. During the time, there was already an air-conditioned bus from the Gupan to Manila. So we took that bus.
So did you fly into Manila when you finally got there?
Manila.
How long of a drive is it to?
Well, during the time, about 5 to 6 hours. Because
But the landing, that's a culture shock.
It is
Totally different. And then, public just taking transportation.
Oh yeah, just going to the open market for her. I mean, it's just everything's culture shock. I mean, just like, and people walking on the street all the time. It's not like that. I mean, just everything is culture shock for her.
Yeah.
She just can't take it, and the smell and the sound and the smell. Yeah, she just can't take it, and so she's ready to leave. And so that day, when on the way back to Manila to fly back to U.S.
Did you end up staying the full 3 weeks?
Yeah, we had to because I didn't change my ticket. Oh yeah, she was miserable. So she was like laying her head down, and she said, I asked her, what's happening? I said, what you're doing? I said, I'm praying, she said. I said, what are you praying? She said, if the Lord will take us out of this country safe, I will never come back to the Philippines. That's what she said to me.
Yeah. How'd that make you feel?
Oh, my heart sank.
Yeah.
I feel so bad that I brought her there. And here it is. My whole world has changed. I mean, it's turned around. I don't know what to do. We're going back to United States. I report to the leaders. Said, yeah, she don't like it there.
Yeah.
So they understand. She's American. They said, we'll just stay here for a while and we'll see until she's ready.
Yeah.
And then later on, just like, but I'm miserable. So I said, well, if we're going to stay here then I'll just live like the American dream. I just live here. I can serve God in here. So I was working for the church that time. So I started applying for a job outside the church now because I can make more money working outside the church. So I think me and her, I think we applied to work for a federal post office job. A lot of Filipinos work for a post office.
Yeah.
So I did apply. She also applied for the job. I passed the tests. They got me to interview. Right.
Were you working on becoming a citizen at that time?
Was it not on your radar? No, it was not on my radar. Or just living here is that's okay. I mean, just live here.
No green card then?
No, it's a green card because you can do pretty much everything you want. Really, except for voting.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much you can do anything. You can own a land. You can own a house. You can work without being an American citizen. So it's not in my radar for that. So it's just I said okay. So started applying for that job, and then I got accepted to work for post office. So before...
How many kids do you have at this time? The one?
2 already.
2?
We already have 2 kids.
Well, what are their names again?
Mona Ray, my first, and second is...
How'd you guys come up with the names?
Well, Mona Ray just inverted my name. My wife said Ramon. She just added A on the end, and there's Mona, and then Ray just inverted Ramon. Ray, and what's Abalos. And then Ray Ann is still first is my first syllable Ray instead of R-A-E, I added R-H-A-E. And then Ann is my wife's middle name. So that's my second daughter. That's how they got her name. And so I applied to, I said, well, since we're living here, I'll just quit working for the church and make more money. Because post office at the time, that was in 1984.
Do you remember what they were paying back then?
Oh yeah, it was $19 per hour.
$19 an hour?
During the time, plus COLA, cost of living, and federal.
That's a lot.
Full insurance, federal, everything.
19.
In the
80s.
Yeah, 1984, 85.
Yeah.
So I was about to quit the church, but before quitting the church, I talked to our administrator and also my elder. I said, since I'm not going back to the Philippines, I don't know when she's going to be ready. I'll just quit the church and just live here. Just serve the church here, and I'm serving God anyway here. And I was an elder, and became an elder in the church. So
this is what, late 20s?
Yeah, late 20s. I was about 23. 24. I know. I got married in 24, so it's probably about 26, 27. So I said, okay, so I'll just work. And so I told him I got a job at post offices. Well, my elder, and he's the administrator of the church, said, if you get the job, I said, you're beginning, they will let you work on Saturdays and Sundays, pretty much because you're newcomer.
Yeah.
Newer. So that means you can't be in church. Be hard for you to you're an elder here. Be hard for us to keep, be training you, and you're an intern pastor here. So he said, if you think the job it will take longer for you to go, but you don't know when she's ready. I said, I don't know when she's going to be ready. So she said, and then my wife at the time, so I was uneasy about getting the job, and then she noticed my uneasiness. She looked like just looking for a job. And then I get the job. No, because before I took the post office job, my wife went to the pastor's wife and get counsel. And he said, I feel bad. I don't like it. She just blurred her heart and what she feels that she don't want to go back. And so she is hoping that the pastor's wife would just sympathize and empathize and just say, yes, you're fine. I said, you'll be okay. Just stay here. But you know what she said? When you married her, do you believe it's the will of God? I says, yes. When you married her and said yes to her, do you know that she's taking you back to the Philippines? Yes. I said, yes. So what do you think? And so it's like, you said yes even before you married him. It's like, yes, that you're going. And so she came home. It's like, so she just said she came home. I just like, okay. I said to people, doesn't have like you have to go now. I said, just set a day. And so I said like, okay, how about a year? Oh yeah, that's fine. Talk about it. So she came home. I told the council. I said, okay, how about if we go a year from now? I said, no. I don't believe her. I don't believe her. I said, no, it is. I don't believe it. But weeks and months keep going, and she kept pressing me that let's set the day. So that was in 1984. And about June or 19, every month she says, let's set a day. What year? A year from now. I said, it's about September, October. I said, okay. September of 1985. And so things changed.
So here's
I quit. So I did not quit. I didn't take the.
So here's a life lesson I get from that.
Yeah.
Is I think one thing we miss in culture today is a young person, they go to someone, they don't go to someone older. No.
Yes.
They go to someone their age.
Mm-hmm.
And then that person just says, oh, you can be you, live your life. But if you go to someone that's older, that's an elder, they can hopefully speak wisdom. And then rather than sympathize with you, they can call you out.
Yes, right.
And I think that's something we're missing right now.
That's a good point.
Is young people don't have a relationship with older people.
That's right.
That's a big miss. And then secondly, when a young person feels, has a certain feeling about something, they don't have anyone in their life to call them out on it. They would rather just stay in their whatever. And so that's an interesting lesson is your wife went, she humbled herself to go take, maybe she on a different outcome, but humbled herself to go, have purposeful communication with someone. And then that lady was like, hey, you specifically married this guy for this and you're not doing that. And so she called her out essentially.
Yeah.
And I think we miss that today. Now, a lot of times, poor me, I'm a victim. I don't want to take advice. I don't want someone to call out weakness in my life. Not saying it's weak, just the principles you can learn from that. And I think that's a valuable lesson. Is even when you're young, you need to have a relationship with people older than you. Not just your peers, because your peers don't have the same life experience, and they're less likely to call you out on whatever it is you're going through.
Good point.
Because I think we live in too much isolation today. As a couple, you need other people inputting into your life.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're getting that as much today in the current culture.
Mm-hmm.
So sounds like God worked on our heart, had a year to do that, and then you go back to the Philippines.
Yes.
So I kind of want to speed this along a little bit. So I know you have other skills and attributes you kind of picked up. You went to the Philippines, worked as a missionary pastor at a church. How did you start getting into, because I think you still have desires for business, how did you get into real estate? And then how did you end up going back to Florida?
Okay. So ended up.
Let's talk about your 30s. So
Yeah, that's right.
late 20s, you're kind of, your Alaska church is sending you as a missionary to the Philippines. You're pastoring the church. And then what's going on then?
So when I was sent out to become a missionary pastor, before that, I'm already employed by the church. And so they asked me,
the Alaska church?
Yeah, the Alaska church. So I'm an employee of the church, and they asked me, how much would it take you? Because it's a little different. The mentality that they have there is they don't have like asking for money support, things like that. And so it was just very nice that they want to be responsible for it. So how much would it take you to live there? And during that time I was on a salary of like $2,500 a month. That was in 2000, that was 1985. But I said, I would take a 50%, or actually less than that. I'd take a cut. I can live, during the time I can live less than that in the Philippines. So I, in fact, pretty much choose my salary. They keep me on payroll. And they said I'll only take $1,000. I think it's $1,300 a month. There's $300 just tithes and offering and things like that. So to put it there. So I live on $1,000 a month while I was there. First, second, 3, 4, all the way up to 7 years, I never got a raise. I didn't ask for a raise. Then my children are growing up. And from two, then 2 more were born in the Philippines. And then I'm finding out that I'm not very good at asking for support.
Yeah.
So my salary is what I use for ministry also. I started churches to rent a building, to start all this. It's all coming out of my salary. I'm finding out that it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough. I just started family to feed, and all the needs of the church, and it's even ministry money. It's coming out of that, the whole thing. And so I said, I need to become because what happened is as a former Filipino, when we went to the Philippines, I did not apply for a missionary visa. What I did is I immigrated back to my own country. So I was permanent residence. So my whole family is a permanent residence in the Philippines. So I can work legally there and have business. So I was there, I was looking the need, and also people that I'm discipling, I see that I need to help them. So in fact, after I started a transportation business. I bought several. I started with one Jeep. I have a Jeep. Yeah, and then I employed the people in my congregation that I'm discipling. So I trained them to be a driver. So they drove my Jeep, and on Sunday it's not driven, so now they can go to work. They can go to church, and then even on Saturdays and times they don't let them drive. And then I said, come over and we'll have Bible short training in my house. And then I disciple them a lot, and then from 1 Jeep to 2 Jeep, 3, I think I have like about 5. But on the course of that, I learned how to be mechanic also because pretty soon there's a maintenance. Because those jeepneys, they go 12 hours a day.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Who's the main manufacturer of jeepneys? I never knew that.
Yeah, there's a manufacturer in the Philippines called Sarao, but not, it's like the biggest one. But from there, it's just anybody, even small time.
So it's not like Mitsubishi.
No,
They don't make jeepneys. It's local to.
It's local there. It's made there. It's actually what it is. It's a surplus engine from Japan. From Japan, there's an Isuzu engine. They got a transmission. And then the axle is Toyota. The steering wheel is Nissan. And that breaks it. I mean, it's just a conglomeration of different parts, and then just put it together, and then they build the body. That's what a jeepney is. Yeah, it's all diesel. It's different parts of.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so all they do is just build. It started with Willys Jeep during World War II. The Willys Jeep that the Americans left there, and then from there there's transportation, and they just made the body. The back longer, but it's the same design as a Jeep.
So out of basically necessity, you needed another source of income.
Yes.
And I think that's really neat that not only did you feed them spiritually, but also physically. And I think that's really neat that you're like, hey, I don't want to just preach the word to you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to actually help you guys make money.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that form of discipleship where it's like, hey, you're fend for yourself as far as meeting your physical needs, but there's a group of guys that you went and you helped start a business with. So that's really neat. So you had the jeepney business.
So I was really a bivocational missionary.
Yeah.
So, and also I want to be a good example also to the local pastors there, because there are some pastors who doesn't believe on pastor working.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some people like that.
Or Paul, tent making.
Yeah.
He was like a maker.
I told him, but there's still some pastors who don't agree with that. So I did that just for that example also.
So how long did you do that for? A while?
Okay, I did that for, I think the first 7 years that I was there, and then something happened that the church that I was being supported, there's also a change in their leadership, and things changed in their mentality, and then eventually they said that they want us to come back to U.S. and there's a lot of disagreement that happened there.
So you didn't take furloughs like most missionaries did, because you...
No, there's no such thing, because I am local. So they didn't treat me as a missionary now. There's no such thing as furloughs. So I don't have that.
If you could have, would you have done that?
Oh, yes.
So you would have if you could.
I would have, yeah. But
you probably would have liked that too. Did you ever go take vacations back to America during that time?
We came back to America for conferences.
Okay.
Yeah, they brought us back like every 2 years. They come back for conferences. Yeah, so we're only here for like maybe a month, and then we go back again.
Did you go to Florida as well, or primarily Alaska?
Yeah, both. Alaska and Florida visited.
Well, two opposite ends.
Yeah. So we did that. And then after 7 years, finally, the finances and the employment from Alaska stopped. Trying to resign from the organization also. Then that was like another chapter in my life. What will I do now?
This is early 30s now.
Yeah, this is in 1992. So I was like in the 30. My kids are just like, I have 4. It's like 6th grade, 4th grade, 2nd grade, and Zeb was like kindergarten. So we don't have a choice.
Were you stressed and worried at that time?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I always...
Talk to us about that, because I think that's something that people don't realize, like other people have gone through hardships. I want to like kind of highlight that, like what was that like, that stress when you were in a position like that?
It was one of the difficult times that I have experienced in my life, where you have 4 kids depending on you, and you don't have, and all of a sudden, you have no employment. And all these years, since 19 years old, all I know is working for the church. I can do business. So I said, so I came back here. I don't know what to do. Yes, I would say depression a little bit. I got burned out with the church. I got, just like dissatisfied with ministry. So I came back here, lived with my parents for a while, and then eventually,
How did they stay here? Where's here?
Florida.
Oh, so you left the Philippines.
Went to Florida. I didn't go to Alaska.
Okay. Things got ended with the church.
Yeah.
Maybe not on a great ending, but
no, it was not. So I left that, came here, and I have some savings because I have a house in Alaska during that time. I have a house, and I sold my house, so I made some money. I have some equity, so I have some savings that I kept. So through that savings, I was able to buy a house here in Florida. But since then, I said, I don't know what's next. But my wife and I, deep within us, I said, our ministry is not finished yet. But we're not part of a big denomination. We're independent. We don't know. The only one that's kind of like help us once in a while, my family and friends. I think there's one church that helped us a little bit. So I don't know what to do. I wanted to go back. I know it's not finished yet. I want to go back to the Philippines, but there's no way. I don't have any support. So when I was here, I said, well, I'll just look for a job. Applied for a job, got interviewed for a job, then come to find out that job requires traveling, leaving my family and my wife. I said, no, I don't want that job.
Yeah.
So applied for a different job while here. We did different things. I picked up appliances on the road. So I picked up a dryer on the road, fixed it, and advertised it, sold it for $100.
Did you know other people that did that?
No, I don't know, but
because it's like a thing now for people to do that, fix and flip, and
yeah, so I did that.
The OG of fix and flip.
So I started doing that, and then I found out it's just all really simple because during the time it's no computerized. It's all
it's all mechanical.
Mechanical, but at the same time it's also just electricity. Just as once you know the flow of electricity.
So I want to ask you something about that. Were you always into like tinkering with stuff?
Yes, I like working with my hands. I enjoy it.
Because I know you did that with the jeepneys.
Yeah, I did that with Jeep. I learned how to be mechanic because it's already there. I didn't go to school, but once in there, I learned how to do brakes. I can do pretty much anything in fixing jeepneys except overhauling and transmission. Yeah. But I did pretty much everything.
Nice. So now you're in Florida, staying in a house that you purchased with the money, and then you start
so at that time,
items.
Yeah, that's what I did. We did a lot. We even delivered. The kids remember. We even delivered during that time. There's this phone book. They pay you by delivering them to houses. We did that too. We got money on that. And then also I bought a those vending machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some savings. I bought several vending machines and I put those on different shops. And we also did that too,
That's super interesting because that stuff is coming like, there's people out there that call it boring businesses, and they talk about how to make money. And you did all that before there's courses on how to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you figured it out out of necessity.
Yeah. Out of necessity because I got to feed my family. And so out of that, living in the house, and then there's a house. This is how I got into real estate. There's a house right behind my house that's for sale. And then it's not selling. Been there, but it's right, I have my house here and there's right behind it. It's a small house, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It's for sale and it was for sale like $69,000. And this was in 1995, 94, or 93, 94, somewhere like that. Okay, and then I noticed that they drastically lowered the price to $59,000. I said, they really drastic and they must be desperate. So I called the realtor. And I said, is this house for sale? They said, yeah, they just lowered the price. They're desperate. They want to sell the house. So I said, I'm interested. How much? So I called the listing agent himself. And I said, well, I'd like to make an offer. How much is your offer? But before that, I told my wife, I think I heard from the Lord. I said, I'd like to make an offer on that house for $40,000. From 69 to lower to 10,000. Now you're asking another almost $20,000 less. I said, why? My wife said, because that's what the bank I was approved of. Because of my income, $1,300 a month, I can only qualify for $40,000.
Yeah.
For a loan. And so I told the realtor, I said, well, I can offer you more, but I cannot qualify. I can only qualify, the bank can only give me a loan for $40,000. I really went to the bank. Okay, I'll submit the offer. Came back to me the next day, called me, first thing, kind of cursed under breath. I said, he just made a 4-letter word, and he said, if I've known that they will accept your offer, I would have bought it myself. He can't believe it.
How old was the house at the time? Was it old?
It's an older house, probably built in the late 50s.
50s?
Yeah, it's an older house. Yeah, it was an older house.
So that's how you got into getting into the animal.
Other than that, I fixed the house. Got it. It's so old. It was like people came there, retired, and then they went back to their son. Then they're actually dying. I mean, they're like, that's why they needed to sell it. That's what they were saying. So I fixed it. My mortgage payment was about $250. But I can rent it out to about $500. So I look at it, I said, $250. So I have to rent it out. So there's $250 right there. Even this.
You know other people that were doing that? I know that stuff.
No.
But now that's like,
no,
they know horses on that stuff now.
I do not know anybody that does it. I said, I look at it, I said, the Lord said to me, I said, man, if I'm going to, this is good. I said, that is just like one church. 250. So these houses, I said, Lord, give me 10 houses.
Yeah, because you weren't in.
I was not
make a ton of money.
Because my goal, if I can only raise $1,000, I'm going back.
Yeah.
If I have that income. So I said, okay. So that was my prayer. I said, Lord, give me 10 houses. There's just like one house, just like a church.
Yeah.
Giving me $100, $200 here, $100 here. And so I started that, fixed it, started income. And then my wife started looking in real estate at Bradenton Herald, the paper. And then we saw another house. Called the realtor, and so the realtor said, okay, this house has a house that's rented for $500, and there's another house on the back, some other apartment that's now, it's a mess, it's now a storage, but you can fix it up and make another income. But your mortgage is only $400, less than the rent.
Mm-hmm.
It's like about $400 is my mortgage, but it's rented for $550. And then the sweet thing about this deal is it's non-qualifying assumable mortgage. Just take over the mortgage.
Yeah.
Now you can't find those kind of mortgages.
Yeah, it's really hard.
And so the realtor says, just pay the down payment. So I did pay the down payment. Got it. Right there, don't have to worry about the mortgage because there's a tenant in place. Already there is renting. So what I did, I fixed up the back. I did all of that work. I fixed it all up.
And you enjoyed doing that kind of stuff.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed fixing up. I learned to do carpentry.
I did, like, today it's YouTube. How did you learn back then? There's no YouTube.
By experience. I remember started sweating, plumbing, copper. I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
How to do it. I just asked people what I did. There's no YouTube during time, so I asked people. I remember one time I fixing a leak, and it took me 4 or 5 hours just to fix it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, because there's water right in line. I keep hitting it up, and there's water in line. It never. So it's just like the next day I went to a church, and there was a plumber. I said, "How come?" Yeah, I took me on. I didn't sleep almost all night. It's doing this one leak. After I did all the sweating, and then there's one leak, and after I turn the water on, because there's water in the line. So what do you do? I said, "No, put bread in the stuff with the bread to absorb all the heat." So I learned. So there was a professional plumber that was retired. So I asked him. So it's by asking, and so I learned all of that, how to drywall, how to do electric and texture. I didn't, all these houses.
So here's the lesson I get from that.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to start a project. You don't have to know all the answers.
Yeah.
Because out of necessity, we'll go learn those answers.
Yes.
And there's a guy I follow. He's big into real estate. His name's Pace Morby. And he tries to help people get into real estate. And he says, people always come with me to all these theoretical questions.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, no, come to me when you actually have a problem to solve. Because we can sit here and analyze theory all day.
Everything, yeah.
But until you actually have something in front of you, that's how you learn. So for you had no YouTube, you had no mentor.
Nope.
This is how you do it in real estate. You had no Pace Morby.
No.
You just had your own intuition. But then out of necessity, you went and found people that could help you, like a plumber and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the lesson I get from that is you can go bite more than you can chew. But then in that will force you to go learn from other people, or you went and found the help that you needed. So that's an interesting story.
So that's how it started. It's every house since then. It's just a miracle after miracle. And then the next...
How much was that second house?
I bought it for about 46.
Yeah, that was hard to do that.
And
in 2022
house, and then a mother-in-law apartment. So I fixed that and got it rented. So you got one renter here, another renter here, another renter. So 1, 2, 3. And then actually my main house, it also has a mother-in-law apartment too. So I have a renter already on my main house. So 1, 2, 3. And then I said, not enough. 1, 2, 3. I leave 4. Not enough. So my wife keeps looking, and this is the Lord director, and then find another house that's duplex for sale.
This is all just in your local market.
Bradenton, yeah. So another house is worth the sale. By the time I don't have much cash. And so we talked to him. He said he just fixed this house, remodeled it. He was renting it before. He got tired of renters, took the renter off, and he just wanted to sell it. And we talked to him. I said, well, I'm interested to buy the house. And said, how much money do you have? I don't have. Why are you buying the house? So I told him, because I want to use this house to help me go back to the mission in the Philippines. I said, what are you going to do? Well, I want to live in this house and rent the other one house.
Yeah.
So with that, I have free mortgage.
Yeah.
Because the other house is paying for my mortgage. I don't have to pay.
So you moved out of the house you were staying in?
That was my plan.
Yeah.
But I have to be approved first. But the house is $65,000. And so, how much money do you have? Nothing. And so this guy, he said, okay, I'll help you. Said, get a contract. He said, okay, I'm going to lower the price to...
Was this an older gentleman?
It's an older gentleman.
Was he a Christian?
No, he's not even a Christian. I don't know. He was a pretty... But he said, I'm going to lower the price from 65 to 60. But don't tell them that I'm giving you money, $5,000. It was like something like, I'm going to give you the down payment so you can get the loan. So, okay, that sounds good. So,
And you're not even dealing with the agent, you're dealing with the owner?
The owner, I'm dealing with the owner. Direct to the owner, not to the agent. So the owner says, this owner, he knows what to do because it's, but the problem is, if the price is 60, I said, I can only qualify for 40. And so, no, I'll find a broker, So he did find a broker and he just get all this. And sure enough, I've submitted all my income taxes, all my papers, and sure enough, I only qualified for 40. And then, but everything went through. And so, the guy who's doing the closing, he asked me, he said, this guy is your rich uncle? Is he your uncle, rich son? No? Are you related to him? No? I said, I can't believe it. I said, I can't believe it. I've never seen a deal like this before. You can only qualify for 40,000. Yeah, you got the 40,000, but there's a remaining 60,000. So what are you going to do about it? I said, I never found he gave you a second mortgage.
That he personally?
Yeah, personally, with a balloon in 5 years with no interest.
Mm.
And that's how I got it.
Wow.
And I said, I've never seen anything like this before. You know what? Even in 5 years, in 3 years, actually, I paid him off.
Mm.
I owe him 20,000, but in 3 years, I asked him, I said, you still have 2 years for me. I think in 2 years, you have 3 years for me. You're not making interest in the 20,000. If I paid off earlier, would you take less? I said, yeah. He counted how much interest is losing in 20,000. I paid it off for 17,000. Gosh, paid him off. It's like another. I was like, so we live in that house. We got us. So now I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm leaving my house. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I said, this is enough. Now it's time to go back. So we live in that house for a while. And so I was able to go back.
So who was going to manage all those properties for you while you're gone?
My father-in-law managed it first.
Oh, nice.
So I was able to manage it. Yes.
Yeah, real estate's interesting because every deal is unique. Every deal, it's like a game, a negotiation. And for you, you had spiritual desires for it. Yeah.
Got to listen.
So you went back to the Philippines, was able to keep pastoring.
Yeah.
How long did you do that before you came back again?
So I went there for 7 years. Then we were here for 2 years. So that's 9. Then all in all, 21 years. So another 11 more years.
So you
stayed there.
You stayed there for 11. Did you pick up any business ventures the second time when you went back there?
Yeah, see, I already have those business going on. So what I do every summer, I come back to US. I take a break. I come back here to work. But while I'm doing that, I'm saving my money. That if I have enough for down payment, I have someone here, like a realtor, tells me there's any foreclosure, let us know.
And so now we're in the 90s.
Yeah, we're now in the 90s. So while I'm living in the Philippines, I'm buying houses. Doing the work there, I buy houses unseen, but I let my father-in-law see the house.
Yeah.
So foreclosure, I have a realtor who looked at it. He said, it's pretty, what he taught me, this realtor says, as long as the rent is higher than the mortgage, buy it.
Yeah.
And that's my principle. The mortgage is lower than the rent. And that's how I did it. I just raised up enough for the down payment, start buying it. And then, of course, as it goes, after a year or two, like buying gas, there's one also during that time I'm really buying and selling. While I'm still living in the Philippines, buying and selling, buying and selling. So that's how I started gaining some cash. But still tight because everything is I'm supporting myself there. And then I was able to buy another foreclosure house. They told me it's a 5-door apartment. Bought it for I think 100-something, 120. Now it's worth almost $500,000.
Do you still own that?
Yeah, I still own it, for like a 5-door apartment. So then every summer I come back here to fix the houses. I stay here for 2 or 3 months.
Can you bring the whole family?
Yes.
So it's like
great.
It's a good vacation for everyone.
Everyone in there, but also at the same time so they can spend time with their grandparents.
Yeah.
And at the same time while they're here, especially when they're already high school, they can work.
So do you remember any interesting tenant stories? Nightmares? Probably had a lot of those. And it's for you, it's just part of the business.
That's what it is. It's just part of the business. I have lots of stories of that.
Is there one that stand out that's really over the top, or do you have like I want to hear one that's just a really crazy tenant and then one like catastrophic damage, if you have any of those.
Just lately, one of the apartments, I can't believe it. It is like this tenant said, I still want the house. I'm just going to go to another state to, I'm going to want to keep renting. Save the apartment for me. I'm going to go get training to be a driver. And so the first month was out, he paid. And the second month, he hasn't come back. He hasn't paid. We're trying to contact me. He hasn't paid yet. Third month, second month, still not paying. So we can't contact him. He's not returning our call. We finally ended up going inside his apartment. And man, the apartment is full of carton. Full. I mean, and then water is leaking. It's just like,
So did you end up evicting him and getting his stuff out?
Yeah, I had to. I didn't go evicting because he doesn't live there. It's more of abandonment.
Yeah,
I did the abandonment. Lowest cost in there.
Yeah,
and of course they didn't pay, and I can't evict him because they can't serve the warrant because he's out of town. And so it was like pile. I mean, we're talking about all these people, and this guy, he's like, he thinks everything is trash.
Yeah,
that was one of the worst. Yeah, but first I've seen so many people. Yeah, they just. But as I said, it's part of the business. But the good thing about this business, you're still on top of it. I mean, every business, there's always customer that's always not happy.
Yeah.
Yes, but with this, at least, is you're not depending on the review of the customer. You're still ahead of them. I mean, you are in control. If they don't pay, he's a victim.
Yeah, it's different with a property management company. We do get reviewed.
Yeah.
And so, and I tell owners, the way you interact with the tenant is different than the way we interact.
Yes.
So we have a reputation to uphold. For an owner, what's that tenant going to do? Write you a bad review on Google? Like, you don't care. But as a property management company, it's like, yeah, we want to protect the owner, but we also have to deal in a different type of way. But so did you ever have a property management company manage, or you always did it yourself?
We did it ourselves, and then later on down the road, when my parents, my father cannot take care of them, we have another brother and sister in the church that took over, and then first they only did it like for 1 year. It's first they cannot do a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Then it ended up, I found a property manager that I found he's also a good brother. And so he cut his property management because he knows we're in the Philippines, we're missionaries. So he cut his thing. At the time, we were only paying 8%. It's like over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at your peak, how many properties did you have?
Peak, I probably have about like 18, 19, 20 tenants, renters, probably 10 houses,
Did you go?
flexes.
Did you go out of Florida to another state?
Yes.
What was your decision for that?
Time we came back here in just before the recession. It's in 2006 and 7. It's just like prices they're still very high. And so it's like over like 300, 400,000 already in 2006 and 7. So we came back here. That was the time when we finally left the field and live here. And so during the time...
Was that a hard time decision to retire?
Yes, that was hard because the key really there was, it's not because I love the church and I love what we're doing there, but I always preached that family is first, not ministry first. So during the time my children already graduated college, 2 of them are already back in States because of course they wanted, one of my daughter wants to work in the Philippines and live there. But I said, why would you work here and you can make more money in States? I said, so we went to, she doesn't know, we went to America in the summer. Actually, before that, she was already applying for a job there. She thought she was going back. But I said, no, you're not going back there. I'm just going to stay here at this rate. And she was disappointed. She thought she was going to live there and work. And she was in her after college. I said,
did they see themselves more as Filipinos or Americans at that time?
at the time, you look at themselves as Filipino. Yeah. They just looked at them as Filipino. She actually thought she's going to really work there. And so I said, hey, what you going to make here in 2 months is what you're going to make there in 1 year. I said, in the Philippines, I said, you make that in 2 months in here. I said, so come back there. He's more, I said, well, my family's already here, and then 1 or 2 of them, and then I only got 1 child over there. And then Zeb graduated high school, and now he wants to he doesn't want to go to college in the Philippines. The rest of them went to college there. So I said, Zeb wants to go to U.S., so brought her there, and so I got 1 more child over there. I said, 3 more kids are in States, and we're here. And I was teaching family first. Now I'm putting ministry first. I left, my children are living with our grandparents. See, right. So that was the thing. That was really the pull that I have to turn over the church to the one I disciple. I said, we're living for good.
Yeah, I think that's an important decision you made because I think a lot of people will sacrifice their family for ministry.
I heard so many stories, so many stories that did that. Ended up it's hating the therapy.
Yeah, they leave the faith altogether, and
so many stories.
So I think that was a wise decision. And
yeah, that's what I did. Then I did that, came back here in 2006, 2007. I cannot buy a house here because everything is
ridiculous, yeah.
But my in-laws already moved to Carolina, in the South Carolina area. So I said, well, let's go there, go visit, and I found out that houses there are cheaper than here. So I ended up, I said, well, our actually plan during that time too is to move there and closer with them because my wife and all the kids there, they like a little cooler weather than Florida. So I said, well, eventually we'll move there. So I bought a house in Greenville for $180,000, 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,500 square feet. At that time, you can buy one like that.
Yeah.
During the time, 2007, 2008.
Did you think something was going to happen with the real estate market?
I never thought because everything was going up high.
Yeah.
Construction is going on. Construction is during time at the time. But I see a little bit, it's kind of like plateauing.
Yeah.
In 2007, 2006 and 7, it's just kind of like going up, but it's still going up. And then, then my daughter also want to partner with us. So I bought 2 houses in Carolina. I fixed it up and got it rented out. So actually I have properties up there. And later on, 2 years later, I sold it. because it's hard to be a landlord somewhere you're not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because during the time we travel also there. So I worked on that house for a long time, fixed it up.
So now you have a few properties still in Florida, and that's kind of what
Yeah, and that's how
really retirement.
how God provided for me, because during that time I said, Lord, I spent all my productive years, came back out of ministry. I was already 50 years old, and I have no retirement. I have no social security, because as a minister, I opted not to pay.
Are you a U.S. citizen now?
I've been a U.S. citizen, since 1985. So I decided to do that because it's easy for me to come back and forth.
Yeah.
I turned over to become to go back to the Philippines, I said, I still want to come back and forth. So to maintain my Filipino citizenship is very hard.
Yeah.
Come back and forth. I said, once you're a Filipino citizen, you can only stay in the Philippines for like 1 year, and then you have to leave again.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want that. So I applied for a permanent residence there, and I can stay there as long as I want. I don't have to be forced to leave.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So I came back here, and I think it was a miracle that then comes the what do you call that? The recession.
Yeah.
So we were hit. A lot of people were hit in that time. I almost lost my business, but a year before that, I was able to get a line of credit on a couple houses.
Mm-hmm.
And so before they pulled my line of credit out, I was able to cash it out just before. And so what happened, that sustained me during the recession when my tenants, it's hard to, and then most of my tenants actually stayed, which is good.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that lost their rental properties is because when the tenant leave, and then they have a mortgage. So I have a mortgage in all of them.
So you're fortunate during that time your renters were able to keep paying.
I was blessed because my renters were paying, and then after that, I have also a little savings that I pulled HELOC from a couple of properties that I have helped me. And then when the recession happens, I use the money to buy a property.
Yeah, because then everything was super cheap.
Oh, well, boring at that. But at the same time, it was kind of hard at first to invest, because I was like 2009. I looked at my spreadsheets. I had almost like $1 million. And my properties are only worth $500,000. I don't know. But of course, I still have equity. But during the time when everything was upside down, the properties are, I call them underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I owe like $1 million. I was first.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people got burned, but I think because you always had the intent wasn't to become some rich multimillionaire. Your intent was always for ministry. So I think the Lord blessed you and took care of you through all that. So as we, thank you for taking the time to do this, but just a couple of closing thoughts I want to get from you. Is there any decisions or people or something that changed your life that you heard or listened to, or I guess was there, other than the Bible, was there someone else that you looked up to, or someone that mentored you, or did you have someone guiding you throughout the years, or was it every so often you'd meet someone that would maybe provide counsel to you?
I've learned by watching other people in ministry, and other people also. Throughout the years, God has put different people in my life also that maybe mentored me a little bit here and there. pastors and people, friends that I know, but I'm a good observer. And later on, I found out that the most important thing really in life is family, not ministry. Because I've seen people who spend their life in ministry and all of a sudden,
Yeah. And I think to people listening, that can also apply to work. If you put your work above your family, your boss 5 years ago, if you work somewhere else, he's not thinking about you anymore. But your family is always there.
Exactly. It's the same things. Those are things that I found out in life that, family is most important. Yeah. Of course, number one, relationship. Lord, and I've seen God's hand and protection and provision, and all in all, really, is God's faith in our life.
So if you could talk to your 35-year-old self, or even offer Zeb some advice as he turns 36 soon, what's some life advice you would give to him that you wish someone would maybe provided to you at that age?
I would say to him and to others that first, seek God first. Put Him first. That's one of my favorite verses. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. And that's true in my life. That happens. But first of all, is that you need to have your priorities straight. But I taught my kids not only what I say, but also by examples, how I live, even financially. Same thing, I said, don't spend more than what you earn. The same principle that I was telling that always don't spend more than what you earn. Just always say, well, other thing is really, just, it's true, family is very important.
Yeah. And then where you are in life now, do you still have, are there goals and visions you have for the future? Or are you more just kind of enjoying where life is at? I talk to a lot of people as they get older. One guy I talked to, and I don't know if it's true or not, but he's like, hey, once you hit 70, a lot of people just live in the past. They're thinking about the past. He's like, I have no plans for the future. Again, I don't think he's a believer, but I'm just curious, what is your current mindset about life? What are you looking for towards like the next 5-10 years?
My goal is, I don't know if I will ever retire, but of course, with God's provision, faithfulness in my life now, I now in a situation where I don't have to worry if I'm going to get, where I'm going to get. God has blessed me so much.
Yeah.
I'm set for life.
Yeah.
I don't need to work.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's really my desire and plan, because when that happens, I said, so I can devote myself to do not full-time ministry, just to help ministry. Especially because I've been a local pastor. I like to help local pastors start churches and provide in any way. So we started several years ago. It's called Harvesters International Mission. And the goal for that is to help pastors, to help them, empower them, train them, empower them, and maybe a little financial blessing to them so they can continue, like find a church in the barrios where there's not much money in there, so they can continue serving the Lord. So that's still my goal. I still have a vision that church that I planted someday can buy his own lot and buy and build a church. I'd like to help them in that too.
In the Philippines or
Philippines? Yeah, that's still my goal. And then also, when the time comes I retire, actually I'm still been doing, even since I came back here, we've been going to mission. We're doing mission. Every year we go do something. And the reason I can do this is because God has blessed me financially. We're all the time. And so that's my goal. I'm not gonna like live like and like go for fish every day. No,
Yeah.
that's not. I like to go fish, every day go fishing, but enjoy family. But
So someday your great-great-grandchild is going to see this.
yes,
What's something you want to tell them? If you want to look at the camera and tell them.
well, advice is impromptu. I would just say I'll just use the same scripture that one of my favorites is seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Seek God first, and of course, just life, enjoy life, serve.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to do this. I think it's important for younger people to listen to the voice of people older than them to help gain perspective on their life. And I hope this can be a blessing not only to your family, but people you've never even met, your family, extended family, and then to other strangers. Because I know there's a lot of young people right now that are lost and confused. And I think it's important that they can hear stories from other people's lives, because I think a lot of times we celebrate people that are extremely wealthy. We celebrate the Elon Musks. We celebrate the Steve Jobs. Those are interesting people. I've listened to their biographies, but I think what's more relatable is stories like yours. In your 20s, you didn't have all of life figured out. In your late teens, from what I gathered from your story was, sure, you had plans, you had desires, and that's good and that's fine. But you didn't know how life was going to happen. And then as you live life, things did change. You initially wanted to be a lawyer. That didn't quite happen, right? You end up going into ministry. I think when you were in ministry, you didn't know you were going to become a real estate mogul. Mini Dave Ramsey over here.
I met when I was in the Philippines. I went one of like the temporaries, my classmate in college, and she said he became a lawyer, and he told me, he said, you know what? And I was a pastor, and I said, you are better off. They said, here am I protecting criminals. They won't go out of jail, but you trying to save them first, so they won't even commit crime. All about it. Throw off it.
Yeah. And then you get to hear other people's stories and like, okay, yeah, I'm happy with the life I lived. And so yeah, I really appreciate you doing this, and I hope it can have an impact on people you've never even met before. And so I thank you, appreciate that, and I look forward to maybe having more conversations in the future. Anything else you want to share? Any last thoughts?
That's it. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to do this. This is my first time to be interviewed, and really all I want is to give glory to God, because where I'm at right now, I could say one of the songs that says, I'm forever grateful.
Yeah.
To you. God has been faithful all my life, and that's built my life. I don't know where I'm at right now without God's faithfulness and provisions and grace and His mercy also. I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect father. I'm not a perfect. I've done some investment to that failed. Some investment. So I've learned from that. But overall, God has blessed me so much beyond my. I'm so glad that another one that I keep telling is be debt free. And I was able to achieve that 4 or 5 years ago.
Nice.
And not very many people have that.
Yeah.
Being proud, I'm just thankful to God.
Yeah.
God is able to bless me to do that.
Yeah.
And because of that, all my children, everybody is a witness to that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing.
It's not because I made so much money. I didn't have very much salary.
Yeah.
I don't know how God provided it.
Yeah. And I don't think you always have to know the why. Just know that it happened. And I think a lot of people, they get caught up and they want to know the why or the how. Just accept sometimes things just happen that are out of your control, and just be grateful for. So
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.